So right away, as soon as the internet came out, DARPA commissioned a program called Massive Digital Data Systems Program. And the Massive Digital Data Systems Program was a joint project of the NSA and the CIA. And their goal was to be able to track how political groups around the world were congregating together on the internet. Part of this involved tracking search results through the early search engines that were created to be able to navigate this new internet. And this is where Google comes into the picture. In 1995, Larry Page and Sergey Brin are PhD students at Stanford, and their PhD is being sponsored
Well. That seems like they didn't like that one, did they? Okay, then. Fine. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Friday night. So this is a different kind of show. I didn't want to open with the opening theme song from the daytime show, and we didn't get to run that one near as long as I expected. You try to give them like 5 minutes after the live stream for the notifications to go out and people to gather around and get the beverage. Oh, casino deck card for the show. I think that's the black one. I don't know. One's the black one and one's the red one. I don't know which is which. We're going to be spending some time with Curt and John Vervaeke on the latest podcast that got released this afternoon. But not for a while yet. Hello. I see the assassin. I see the assassin. Are you still muted? Is it just no? Okay, at least you're not muted. You go to assets and then brandings, and then scroll down to ops, and behold, see, because what's going on today is I was just watching to see if there was anything you needed to see from this Curt and the John Vervaeke thing. And it just so happened that a special kind of clip happened, a special kind of moment that is just the sort of thing that goes in what we call the resonance hall in the social memory complex on the Discord. These are rare moments that are very special and hard to catch, but it's well, maybe you'll be able to tell. And while I'm trying to fashion together some various Frankenstein beholders through getting people to work in the loom room and the clip stream, this is something different, a special kind of a heart beholder, perhaps. And we'll give you the savings throws right after this.
And so, Defense Against the Dark Arts, like they've been mastering how to turn you into a mindless consumer that buys what they want you to for a long time. But if we come together and think together and sense make together, then they'll have to up their game even more. And like, so anybody who's steering the big eye is going to get all of that.
Yes, yeah.
If we can train each other to be the eye stalks and bring it together and cognitively process it before we feed it to him, it'll up his level like by magnitudes. And like everybody gets a little bit more above water if we work together that way. I say 12 monkeys, you'll probably have enough of everything to catch what Paul is looking for and the social clues, the stuff that like Gavin would be oblivious to.
How this could be used to allow people to connect and get past the status game. Beware of practicing your piety before men in order to be seen by them, for then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven.
Oh, look, I got the reward from on earth here, not from my Father who is in heaven. Thank you, someone. So we'll see if you can detect the special moment coming up that's worthy of the social memory complex in the resonance hall. But first, the agency deck gives us an ace of spades. I guess we're getting assassinated for this show. We better get them savings throws out the way. You guys know how those go. You get to pick between survival, social wisdom, or heart to base your savings throw on. It's against mind control. I roll the die. If the die comes up over 10, then you made your savings throw and take half damage from the mind control. If it's under 10, you take full damage. And that's how those go. And then, so think about it. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. What's the basis that you use to resist the mind control tonight?
Keep it going. Never know, I'll never die. I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. Cards are really nailing it tonight. That's impressive. Oh, look, we got a pair. Survivalist with a 3. The 3, you got the Trinity. Socialist with the prime 19. That's probably the safe way to go tonight. Lovers of wisdom, only a 5. You're going to need, that's a replay comment. If you left a replay comment, you still made your savings throw. And paired up with the survivalist, the heart folks, also bringing it in the Trinity. Indigo kids, you got disciples tonight. Disciples, indigo kids, whatever the heck that means. All right. The good news is mostly who's here says the toe, Curt with the toe. This fella right here, share this tab. You got to present again. Okay. And from his God Infinity to Sacred Prayer Relations and Objects with John Vervaeke stream is answering comments because it's still a fresh hot drop. So that's going to be fun. But I did want to show you this. This is the thumbnail. If you're looking for it for this video we're about to watch together a little bit, A Scholar's View on the Divine. Powerful thumbnail by Curt Jamongo there. That's this guy here on the couch. We're going to see, hey, Franco's in the house, Emily, Rascal, Zach, Ups, and Mosley. We got quite the crew. Rascal as well. All right, let's get a Blue Church card of the show and then get into it. See if you can detect in the following clip the moment that I think is worthy of including in the Resonance Hall. Behold with me. The Blue Church card of the show. The Blue Church card of the show is the seven of hearts there. Okay, and then play the clip.
Because you're hung up on something, and there seems to be a richness to some dreams.
Well, but that's not in the phenomenology of the dream object. That's in terms of the
Afterward integrating it with yourself.
Yeah, and it's how it fits into people's lives, and then how it fits into people's world, and that's starting to get real.
Okay. I'm going to, in the interest of time, combine two of my questions. One about the oppositeness, which another example, because you mentioned light, which made me think about it. We used to think light was the most pure.
Yeah.
And then Newton came along and said, no, it's actually the maximal mutt. The most that's mixed creates white. So what's an example of something you now believe the complete opposite of than perhaps 20 years ago old Vervaeke? And furthermore, I want it to have come from Jonathan Peugeot.
I believe because of Jonathan Peugeot. Is that what you're asking me? Okay.
It could also be Paul van der Klee.
Well, I can point to something where they really, I think I took a very deep criticism they both made of my work. I took it very seriously. So I don't even have to go back 20 years. I can go back John Vervaeke 2018 before I made Awakening from the Meaning Crisis. Mm-hmm. And this has been extremely fruitful. It explodes.
Okay.
I did everything in that series from an individualistic monological framework. And Jonathan and Paul immediately said, but what? But most of what's going on requires a group, a community, an ecclesia. And it was like, what? And I realized, oh no, I still had this So I've been criticizing all these other aspects of Descartes, and I still had one of his fundamental assumptions that cognition, even reason, is done individualistically in a monological fashion.
Didn't you reference Damasio and Hugo in the series itself?
That's about emotionality, but I'm talking about distributed cognition. And although I talked about extended mind, I didn't draw any implication for the science, right? The attempt to understand our understanding. Let me make it more specific. This is now part of my work. There's increasing evidence that we actually reason best by sort of standard experimental measures of reasoning when we do it dialogically rather than monologically.
Okay, somewhere in there, I'm not going to tell you where, is the magic moment. I think that belongs in what we call, hey, free memberships. You can make the custom emojis if you grab those. You're late. Hey, refugee, good to see you. Why are you summoned here? Why is your salience landscaper brought you thusly? Okay. Somewhere in that clip is the magic moment, and it goes in what I call the resonance hall, where there's a special section called the social memory complex, and so clearly it's for a place for social memories, such as the shout out, the awkward shout out, the friendship of the three men got in that there bit. Okay. Oh, and now you guys, you're gifting more subscribership memberships than there are people in the able to grab them, even if they weren't members already. That's very nice of you, but I don't know how that works though. Oh, jeez.
Now what'll that asshole think of next? Is anybody gonna die?
All right, there's the link. I figure we could just like watch it bounce around in this together and talk about it and have a nice Friday night with Curt and John here on this monocular dialogue. Wait, what? Hey, baby, I was thinking you and me could sit down together on a couch across from Curt and John and just listen to their wisdom. Share it as we hold each other close. I don't know, but you gotta fix it so the pinned link has both the StreamYard link and the coffee link, and you can let the John keep talking while you do that.
I don't talk about that anywhere in the series, but I should have. That's an important realization. And what that then meant for me is, oh, I need to be talking, developing, finding, investigating, engineering with other people, dialogical practices.
In part, though, because the SFI has a great saying, which is that what you need to be is a madman who's alone on the mountain, and then come back to people and have your ideas tested.
Yeah, but you see, that doesn't even work because the madman, and we've got evidence from Grossman, the Solomon effect. We've got Baltes and Staudinger. You reason better even when you're the madman on the mountain when you imagine talking to other people other than yourself.
Sure.
That's convenient. I'm now going to imagine talking to Jeremy.
Oh my gosh.
From the Hive Mind.
I'm a little starstruck. I don't even know what to say.
That's cultivated mind control. Did you not make your savings throw?
I didn't get here for the savings throw.
Oh
no. No. I took a long break. I've always been following the corner, but I took a break from being on. But then I started watching your channel. I was like, you know what? We do need to take down the fourth wall. I'll be a part of this party. It sounds fun.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out together.
I agree. Yeah.
So are you into this John Vervaeke cat?
Yeah, I've watched quite a bit of John. I did not watch his whole Meaning Crisis project. It was too much. I just don't have time to. It was like 80 hours of content or something, and I was just like, I
think if somebody made a distillate, it'd still be like at least half an hour. So there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, I would like to. I would like to watch it, but I just don't. I don't have the patience. I don't have the time. I don't have the attention span, frankly.
Well, it's weird. It feels like he's one of our own. I don't know if it's because Thunder Bay and Chino, or just because I met him at Chino. But like that shout out, those three people were the speakers that were at the Chino event, and so it was. I don't know. I think he's watching what happens to him, especially now that he's come out of the closet about this Hermes thing. That's basically what I'm watching for, is to see if he goes into it with Curt with toe.
Yeah, I mean, no one. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Although he had been kind of skirting those, he'd been courting those spirits for a while. I think with his Neoplatonism, but I do like that John got involved with the TLC, and I mean, he commented here that his work was called out, and he took the critique and actually changed his position, and that in itself shows a good faith and a humility that you don't often see in university professors, at least not the ones I've
Well,
been
in my
involved with.
timeline, he's a philosopher king, but like one of his arms is cybernetic. So he has the potential for it, but whatever happened to turn him dark and bitter and power hungry didn't happen in this reality. So it's an interesting watching him play out this. There's this fascinating bit. Let's see if this works. That I have to catch, and then we're gonna play some branding, and we'll go some more. But let's see if I can get to the bit I know is here somewhere.
Excellent.
Yeah, you're inherently dialogical.
There it is. There's the bit right there. Ladies and gentlemen, whose cat is Curt petting? That's the question for the hive mind and the replay comment section. Is Curt petting John's cat? Where is this? What is happening? Which cat is being petted? This and other questions on our Friday night with John and Curt. Guest starring Jeremy and Grim Grizz over here. LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. That was a McMo one, I think. I believe that was a McMo masterpiece. I think that was his stylistic impression, signature thereof. Okay. All right. I got the grift going.
Uh-oh. Is it me? Is it you? Uh-oh.
There it came back.
Oh, you're back. Oh, good.
Yeah, the internet. I don't know. I pay a lot of your money for these internet people, and today they're like,
yeah, I didn't know how I was going to handle the single hosting the Grizz show. I couldn't.
I know
it's
you
not
don't
going to
even
work.
have the co-host superpowers to play the brandings. Solar.
Yeah,
interference.
I can't do it. I would just have to sit here and wing it.
Is there something about solar flaring you're aware of? There seems to be a knowledge of it in the hive mind.
I've heard rumors. I heard a thing. I saw a couple days ago on Hacker News. They were saying there's a solar storm coming. And
well, we're in it, and we're watching. Let's see if they get to the hot stuff. Let's do our fancy. What do we call it? Transcript search. Where's it at? Where's the There it is. There it is. And by the power of Control F, let's see if the word Hermes comes up at all. No. Curt does not deliver on the Hermes. Let's see where they go. Hey, thanks,
Did they call him something different?
Yeah.
Maybe they call him by
those
a
are
different
reliable
name.
effects too. In fact, you can even do that with somebody who's, this is Igor Grossman's work. Somebody's facing a really difficult problem and they can't get out of it. And you say, re-describe that same problem from the third person perspective of a friend of yours, from their perspective. And the person will almost always get an insight. So I pivoted and started doing a deep investigation.
I need to go back over that again.
Will almost always get an insight. So, will almost always get an insight. So, I pivoted.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Well, I use that technique at work a lot. I try to speak from the computer's point of view, like thinking through a problem.
What do you mean,
like
the
what does the
computer's
computer
point
think?
of view, sir?
Well, like I'm writing a computer program, right? Like how does the computer see it? Like from the here's the thing. Like a lot of time, I work at data where I'm tying tables together, and like one table will have information down to the day, and the other table will have information down to the week, and you're trying to pull information from both and tie it together. And sometimes you just have to think. You have to jump up and down ontological levels, and talking through it from the point of view of one table, how it looks, and then looking at it from how it looks from the other table, projected on the other table. It helps to talk through that. I mean, it's just like in my line of work. It's hard to explain it, but if I could show you, it would probably be easier. But I don't have any examples.
So you bring this one table into existence, and you ask it, "What do you want?" And you mediate between in some fantastical dialogue. Is that what you're suggesting?
Oh yeah. Okay. So here's an example. So if I had a table where it was the revenue for 8 companies, and or for 7 companies, and I had revenue for one other company from the table. And normally I can just take the revenue and add up the revenue, and I put it together. But he wants to see it from revenue by salesperson. Well, if I put the salesperson from the one table in and filter that, and it shows the connection of that formula to all of those salespeople. It works great for the table with 7, but when it comes to the 8th table, it looks like those salesmen have the total for the whole revenue table when I look at it from that point of view. But if I go from the table with one company, then it works for those salespeople, but for all the other ones, it's a total of the other table. So it's your perspective changes depending on which point of view you're looking at when you're tying data together from 2 different tables.
Whoa,
that's super nerdy, and
let's tone it down to some more publicly accessible talk.
And started doing a deep investigation into the dialogical self, the importance of dialogical practices. And that made me see things in Plato that John Vervaeke, all the way back to 1980, taking a class on Plato, had not seen. And why the dialogue is not just an artistic ornament, it is absolutely indispensable for Plato's philosophy.
Now, in math, sure, you can have these insights, but you also then need to sit down and think alone. Like,
whenever Curt speaks, it always feels to me as though he wasn't listening and was thinking entirely about what he was going to say next, and that's why whatever he was going to say next is so far from left field.
That's an astute observation.
Tell us more about in math, Curt.
You can have these insights, but you also then need to sit down and think alone, like hard, with spinning 10 plates. And if you were to talk to one person, you can get insights, but you also need to then verify. And I know from practice, I know in my bones, it's extremely difficult to do almost any deep work when someone else is around. Like just even...
Well, wait. Yeah.
Okay, if you've ever seen the television show House, that's really what they're talking about now. Is Curt Mungle is seeing it from House's perspective, where like the Wilson's insight doesn't hardly mean shh, and John's bringing in you get major insights from having the dialogos. That's what I think.
Maybe it depends on who your dialogos partners are, right? Like some dialogos partners can hang, and some just can't see what you're pointing at.
Some don't need to, though, because whenever he would talk to Wilson, it was about like Wilson's bullshit. and like just putting himself into like taking the perspective of that problem and applying that perspective to his problem when he went back and pounded out in the lab. That was the brilliance of the dialogos.
Fair
What
point.
was not safe for work? The sweet,
Did you say
sweet
bullshit?
dialogos.
You said bullshit. I don't know.
Well, here we'll wash it out with some branding.
Like love. Love is worth saving.
I don't know love.
Now encompasses everything. Does it not?
It's all there is.
It's all there is.
You choose survival, social, wisdom, or heart.
See, you've given yourself up. But this is the most powerful thing that can be done. Surrender. See, and love is an act of surrender to another person. Total abandonment. I give myself to you. Take me, do anything you like with me. See? So, and that's quite mad. So we come to the strange conclusion that in madness lies sanity.
Okay, I got the coffee, but the cats need out.
Yeah. Let's do that.
We've put ourselves in an impossible situation with storytelling, which is that you can't tell the story anymore.
Yeah. Let's do that.
We've put ourselves in an impossible situation with storytelling, which is that you can't tell the story anymore. The exception has to become the center, has to become the one that's holding the center of the story. And so because of that, we've put ourselves in an impossible situation with storytelling, which is that you can't tell the story anymore.
Perfect timing.
So there are periods when you're talking and I'm silent, right? And there's periods where I'm talking and you're silent. And so it doesn't mean that we're always in each other's presence talking to each other. But when you're verifying, right, are you verifying just what possibly Curt wants to see, or are you thinking about potential criticisms that other people might be asking?
Yeah, it's plenty of that, but it's not even quite clear what I'm thinking.
Right. And so notice that you're actually doing something that is really intriguing. And there's actually some interesting work emerging around this. You're usually talking to yourself. And it helps.
Uh-huh.
And it's something like,
oh, I think it's been revealed that it's in fact Rebeki's cat, as it prefers its master. Its master. I like.
Maybe that's Hermes.
Spoiler alert! It was his cat this whole time.
It was just my cat, guys. Sorry, I don't know what all the kerfuffle was about. It was actually my cat.
Kicking kids into third perspective. That's nice. Sans rancune. Says, I don't really get that from the left field feeling from Curt. But I get it's a nerdy tendency to find some exotic analogy. I'd say he's usually on point. Oh, he's trying to find a show-off analogy, you think. Not just coming from a left field. We got a Curt's fan in the house. Welcome to the hive mind.
Curt Defender.
It's good. It's good to have those around.
somehow when I talk to myself, I get answers that I didn't know before I talked to myself.
Yes.
And that means that even at these most silent, most introspective moments, we are inherently dialogical in nature. But you're and I'm grateful for it. Is this okay that
Go ahead. Bernardo, it's always on Bernardo.
Oh no, it's Curt's cat. It's often on Bernardo's lap. And Emily is having some sort of thing. Saying, you're not good with character limits. Okay, you're not good with character limits. It looks like you're barely using what's available. But
you just said
Bernardo's
no.
lap, Bernardo Castro.
You can say more than no.
This is Speedy. He's eponymously named. So you're doing the very thing, and I appreciate it. So I'm not criticizing. I'm observing. Right? You're sort of giving voice, as you should, to the intuition of the monadic, monological self But as we go into the
let's give voice to, hold on.
Giving voice, as you should, to the intuition of the monadic monological self.
My monadic monological self has an intuition. I'm going to give it voice. I'm going to say what the intuition is of my monacular self. Is that what he said? Do you understand what this guy says?
No, I don't know what a monological self is, and I don't know what the monad of my monological self is.
The I that doesn't know. Jelena. The I that doesn't know. That's the monad. That's the self, the I self.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
And the cat's name is Speedy.
Not Hermes.
But as we go into the most inner recesses, we keep finding it being inherently dialogical, which is part of another broader argument that the prototypical example of a substance, which is a self, is inherently relational because it's inherently dialogical in nature.
Well, to quibble with that,
please.
It wouldn't be that you've demonstrated that the self is inherently dialogical. You've argued that internal dialogue helps.
Right. So to say that the self...
Oh, what a quibbler. That is a quibble. I'm going to sit here and listen to it. Okay, what else do we got? Worldviews. Prayer. Does infinity...
I was going down the prayer road in my head. I was thinking, is John making the argument that we're ultimately a being built for prayer, even if we're just having dialogue with ourselves? I don't know if dialogue with yourself is prayer, though.
Well, let's see what they say about prayer here at 107.11.
In a fashion, yes. I don't do what's... I mean, this gets us into a long discussion about the imaginal and the imaginal dialogical.
Sounds like this is a long way of saying no.
No, it's not. So let me try and point something out to you, how the imaginal is different from the imaginary. So I can ask you to do this in your head, 34 times 33. And you can do that. Now, that space that you went in...
33, John. Come on, for fuck's sake. 33.
That's 34. Do it in your head. Let's go ahead, Chris. Come on.
Oh, well, 33 times 3. Wait, no, times 4? Why would you do that? 33 times 3 is almost 100. If you do that, it's almost 3,300. So it's probably 3,301. Right? No, it's 1122 because it was multiplication.
Of course, obviously. I was going down the road of 30 times 30 is 900. 30 times 4 is 120. So there's 11, or there's 1020, and then you have another...
How would the
3
new math
times
groupers
40, so you got another 120 to add to that. I don't know. I lost it.
How would the new math groupers do it? It doesn't matter. It's just that he invoked the numerology I wanted to throw a fit about.
Is that a literal physical space?
No.
But it's not a mere falsity, because that space actually gives you real access to your own cognitive machinery. It affords metacognition, which is a presupposition of rationality. So if we say that there's nothing real about that space, then...
I can't hear you, Grizz. You're muted.
Good. There, +6 for you for saying it. Let's see if anybody got the corn emoji. Are you going to tell me that you can just presuppose something?
Rationality. So if we say
there,
it affords metacognition, which is a presupposition of rationality.
I'm not just going to swallow that metacognition is a presupposition of rationality. That needs to be +4 ups. That needs to be explicated extraneously.
And I did not get the roll for the mind control the saving rolls. So I totally missed his occult reference to the numerology of 34 times 33.
Well, 33 is like Jesus's years, right, and the number of your spine, and the Masonic make things happen. It's He could not say it. It had to be that number. Emily says, I called 33 my Jesus year. My life fell apart. Well,
so did Jesus's.
Yeah, he had a great 33rd year too.
Oof.
If you want to look at it that way. I think I've been interrupting these guys too much, and we haven't gotten to John on anything on this prayer section we're supposed to go to. So you got anything before I power through to that bit? All right, here we go. Let's see if we can get anything prayer out of here.
So if we say that there's nothing real about that space, then we're saying, oh, well, there's nothing real about rationality because this is an essential component to rationality. So it's neither literally real, but it's not merely fictional. It's imaginal. There are certain things that there are certain aspects of reality we can only get access to by looking through particular images. And they have become so natural to us that we forget that that's what we're doing.
So the imaginal belongs in the category of non-physical?
That's one of the things it can point to. It belongs to thing. I used a larger, I was saying non-physical and I changed it to non-literal. Yeah.
So the imaginal can be physical? Like it can be physically helped.
Yeah. You so
psychedelics. There you go.
Well, no. Let me give you a better example.
Physical.
Not a different example that might not be beset in its own controversy. So the NASA scientists who are moving the rovers around on Mars.
And he's got to go to the NASA rovers. Oh, look, everybody. Hermes has arrived.
Oh, wow.
It looks like Lance in a funny hat.
Yeah, Mercury's here.
Welcome. What mercurial thoughts have you brought?
I can't wait to get to this prayer bit. We've been struggling to get there. I'm excited for it.
Well, and he said we think through images, and I was like, you mean icons?
Now I'm back.
Oh, good.
It's like it has hiccups. Yes, Weeks, it's live, and you can come on. We're having a fascinating, fun night with John and Curt. And I guess I'm just letting people come on the stream.
It's the late night inner circle.
Yeah, it's just, Friday night and you're on the internet.
Hey, does he jump on that bike in the background and do like a elliptical phase, or do we just get stuck on the couch here?
We got cat footage. I don't think asking for the bike is a little much. I mean, we got two guys stroking the cat together. This is prime. They're in the Imaginarium right now. I think they're supposed to be getting to prayer at some point. Welcome aboard, Hermes. We'll see if we get there.
This goes to the 3 papers I published.
This is your lobster.
This is my lobster. I go to this a lot.
People should have ties with the Mars rover for Viveki references.
Right. But the point there is they get these so they're looking for people who have a sense of being on Mars and being the rover on Mars and all the perspectival participatory knowing. But what they do, this is to just go to your point, they get the black and white pictures and they physically mark them with colored markers. So that's a physical thing. But by doing that, which is actually falsifying the pictures, because there's no literal markers on the but when they do that, that allows them to see the depth. It makes the topology of the environment pop out for them, and so they.
Oh man, and it breaks my heart, guys. But the topology that those rovers are taking footage of is fucking Greenland. Okay, they sent the rovers to Greenland. Like, you're totally on Mars, dude. Come on. I'm talking about falsified pictures. Yeah. Maybe the picture I
Just put
saw.
a time delay on the guys running it, and they're like, "Whoa, it's on Mars."
It's like maybe the picture I saw of a NASA van and a rover in Greenland was the falsified one. Maybe that, and the real one is the $1 billion one on Mars. But like I said, in the brilliant Grim Grizz Vervaeke happening, it really irritates me that if they went to Mars, they didn't send it to the face on Mars, because there's a face on Mars. And if you're going to send a little rover there, go to the interesting spot for sake.
They see through the colors into the depths that the black and white pictures don't capture. But the environment really does have the third dimension. And so it's not false, but
the topography or the topology?
Sorry, the topology. They'll do things like this. They'll say, "Oh, that's an incline."
That's topography though, no?
Yes, that's what I meant. I apologize.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
But the point is,
there is something inside Toronto, Curt, that feeds off of correcting people that are his superiors. That's what I think. That's what I think that was there. Don't you mean topology?
Actually,
he's trying to show off for his professor. It's like, I paid attention. Look, I'm using some big words.
If any of you think I'm too harsh on Toronto, Curt, you have to know that, like, I asked him to come on the show for a Fringe Encounter on Valentine's Day, and he said no. And so I'm bitter about that. It is interesting that Lance has Hermes behind him, like that. Yes, that he has the Hermes there, because the thing that, if you really want to know how to screw with somebody's head, quote their Twitter shit with a picture of Athena behind it.
Get that their third dimension is now intelligible to them in a way it wasn't before. So there's something physical, it's right, the colors, but they don't look at those colors, they look through them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so in the same way, you're looking through a spatial image at your cognition.
So the 4 Ps, which for those who don't know, do you mind quickly outlining?
Yep.
And I mean briefly, because I have a question about them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Propositional knowing.
Oh, hey, John, show me your P's. All 4 of them. Show me all 4 of your P's, John.
Is prayer one of the P's?
Is prayer one of your P's, John? Show me all 4.
Is knowing that something is the case. It gives us beliefs, and it's stored in semantic memory. Procedural knowledge gives us skills that are powerful or not, and it's stored in procedural memory. Perspectival knowing is knowing by noticing. It's how we're salience landscaping. It's how we're taking a perspective, and it gives us a sense of presence, and it's stored in episodic memory. And then we have participatory knowing. This is knowing by flowing with reality, by your identity and the identity of things mutually shaping each other. So knowing by flowing, and this is
Wait a minute. And this is stored where? Sorry, John, finish.
stored in that very strange sense of memory you call yourself.
Is that the same as the 4 Ps?
Now, since our fabulous discussion has brought me to the insight that prayer, in fact, engages all four of the P's.
Uh-oh.
Because
I'll
you're
be right back.
propositionally participating, and all of them when you're praying. And isn't that neat?
The list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room?
I want to cast magic missile.
A room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet.
I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting magic missile.
Why are you casting magic missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
We don't know, West Coast. Prayer might be the fifth P. We really haven't let him talk anymore. Curt was about to take it. What happened? No, this wasn't there. That's how that goes.
Yeah, I had to leave and come back. Sorry.
It's fine. I just had to move you. Oh, look. Anyone have anything to say before I let them talk some more? All right, then.
Keys of truth. Could you use the word truth?
Yes.
As a substitute for knowledge. No, sorry, not as a substitute for knowledge, but are there truths associated with those four
I think
keys?
when we say it's true, when we say it is true, and we have that sense of conviction, we're talking about propositional. When you say something like your aim is true, you're talking procedural. When you say, it's true, like when you're saying you're being true to something, that's you're really being present and trying to be.
So that's like faith, like be faithful to this person, be true to that person.
Yeah, well, but that's where it shades into the participatory. That's troth, which we don't use very much.
Troth,
like in betrothed. It's a common etymological origin, I believe, for trust.
Oh, I thought he was giving a thoughts shout out there. But check it out. You got the first P is the propositional. The proposition is you can communicate with the sentience that rules this realm. Not the world, but the realm itself. And so you got the propositional of prayer. You have the procedural. You get down on your knees and put your hands in a certain position because that's how you've seen people do it. So you follow the procedure as far as you know it to exist. And then what was the next P you just did?
It was not perspectival. He did
participatory.
He did participatory at the
end. Oh
yeah,
no, and that's the participatory and the good faith participation. The LARP with your whole heart part. Let's play that again.
That being true to something, that's you're really being present and trying to be.
So that's like faith, like be faithful to this person, be true to that person.
Yeah, well, but that's where it shades into the participatory. That's troth, which we don't use very much.
Troth.
It shades into the participatory thought, but like the way it ties into the prayer, the way we're shoving these P's into prayer, it's like you can sit at dinner and say the prayer. You can do like, okay, this is the prayer that we say before we eat. This is how you.
Poor shall eat and be filled. They that seek the Lord shall praise Him. Their heart shall live forever and ever. Glory to the Father and to the Son and to the Holy Spirit. But now, and never, and unto ages of ages. Amen. Lord of mercy, Lord of mercy, Lord of mercy. Lord bless. Through the prayers of our holy fathers, Lord Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us. Amen.
Now, see, there was a way I could participate in that. Like I could awkwardly be like, oh God, the guy's saying the prayer on my live stream is awkward, or I could lean into it. And that's the participatory knowing that I'm detecting in the prayer, the troth we're having.
Like in betrothed. It's a common etymological origin, I believe, for trust and truth.
Okay, wait, which P was that associated with?
That's participatory.
Okay.
So that's how you ultimately have this troth, this sense of connectedness, such that you trust There's a reality. And then there's now, I'm being sort of true to you, in not in a skill sense, but I'm being really present. I'm staying connected to you perspectively.
Okay.
Did that work?
Yes. Is there a fifth?
I'm staying connected to you perspectively. We've got a Miriam call. If you guys want to talk while I bring it up.
Okay. Lance, you haven't said much at all.
I learned
Hermes has not been inspiring you.
Trough.
Scooch over, Lance. You're not centered in the intimate view.
I thought he said trough, but it was trough. See, I learn new words when I hang out in this little.
I'm imagining being John's wife at dinner. And he starts talking about stuff, and she's just like, John,
as a partner, not a wife, for some reason.
Just participate in the dinner and maybe not have so much of the propositional this time.
It's a good one.
Trough.
Yeah. Like trotting.
Trough.
Loyal or pledged faithfulness or fidelity. One's pledged word. The first we learn to speak, and then we learn to bind ourselves with it. And but fidelity I like because of the shout out to the fraternal regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy. Because fidelity and brotherhood and all that.
The older Webster's from 1913 says that it's a variant of truth.
Well,
It's
we
another
deal
spelling
with
of
Miriam, not Webster, so.
I'm not a cat.
We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see doing what is right for me. Just lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency.
Fifth P? Do you imagine there could be a fifth P?
So that is.
It doesn't have to be P. Sorry, like who knows? Just by coincidence, it happens to be a P. But is there a fifth?
I mean, in one sense, in a sense that's maybe not trivial, but not particularly insightful. I think there are kinds of knowings that describe relations and interactions between these. There are ways in which we bridge between procedural and propositional and perspectival. We call that narrative. And is there a narrative way of knowing? Yeah, but it's ultimately explained in terms of relations of the four Ps. If there's something that's at that same fundamental level, right? I don't have a deductive argument that there's no such thing, but I've just got an abductive argument. I've tried to think of one, and I've let people make proposals to me. And
son of a, what the hell was that difference again? Jeez,
deductive
John.
and abductive? I don't know that one.
Yeah, you're making me look things up. Involving abduction, that's helpful.
That's helpful.
The act of abducting. Okay, how many times do I click it?
Being abducted.
To seize and take away. To take away. To reason by taking things away, I guess.
Okay.
All right, son of
a form of logical inference
Yep.
that seeks the simplest and most likely conclusion from a set of observations.
Like an Occam's razor?
All right, so using your abductor muscles, you can use Occam's razor. Share this tab instead.
To fall in your lap. How would you know it when you saw it?
it would have the things that the taxonomy had. I would be able to say, oh, there's an autonomous, distinct kind of memory that it's stored in. It has its own criteria of realness.
Sorry, okay. Let's just take this slowly. Its own distinct memory associated with it?
Remember how I did that propositional is in semantic and procedurals and procedural and perspectivals and episodic? You would say, oh, and there's this X.
Where's participatory, sorry?
That's in this very weird form of memory you call yourself.
What name does that have?
So we sometimes X.
Where's participatory, sorry?
That's in this very weird form of memory you call yourself.
What name does that?
A very weird form of memory you call yourself. Welcome to the Monocular Dialogue stream, Friday night with John and Curt. I'm joined by Jeremy and Hermes over here. and Hermes looks a lot like Lance. How was your participatory knowing of this stream experience, guys?
First off, I was a little disappointed. I thought you'd be wearing a monocle.
If I had one, I definitely would be wearing it. Christmas and my birthday are both coming up. Ducks eat worms. Ducks eat worms.
Whoa. That's a different a different side of Paul Vanderklay. I haven't seen.
Boy, howdy, the chat side of Paul Vanderklay is a lot more hookers and blow than the on-screen side of Paul Vanderklay. I've noticed. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all. Now we're in this video with John and Curt. It started at 107. We're almost to 114. Still not a damn word about prayer that I've heard. Let's see if it gets there.
So we sometimes people call it. This isn't quite right because this has to do with they sometimes call it autonoetic or autobiographical memory, but it's not quite right because it's not. Well, this is the point. You participate in it. It's not just a memory of that. You are it. You see, that's what I mean. Yeah. And yet that's what you would expect for participatory knowing, right? So you'd need, you can say, we've got independent psychological evidence for that memory. We can make clear conceptual arguments for its own normative standard, right? We can point to the vehicle by which it's carried. Propositional knowledge carries by propositions. Procedural knowledge is carried by sensory motor behavior. Perspectival knowledge is carried by consciousness, and participatory knowledge is carried by your identity systems, etc. If I could find something that would meet all those demands, then I would acknowledge it. And the reverse is the case. People have been
like we figured it out earlier, guys. It's prayer. Are they gonna get there? Is that why Curt called it that? We got another. Oh, geez, what are we like? Like less than a minute left, and they haven't said prayer yet.
Been doing this from the beginning. Well, blah 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 blah, and it's like no. What you've described is a new domain for which there can be knowledge. They'll say about poetry, or no. There's no knowledge about poetry, right? And maybe there's a poetic way of knowing, and that's probably a mixture of the perspectival and the propositional, right? The imaginal, right?
Okay, now let's get some insights into how John works. There are these.
It's just an inversion. No. I don't know. I don't mean that. No. I didn't. No. No. Yeah. No. I think that's right. No.
Now, either they finish up in the discussion and they figure out later that what they were talking about in that section was prayer, or they edited in there because they did not say it. I'm gonna do the Control F.
Yeah, search the transcript for.
You guys got any comments about what we're going through right now?
Man, I'm swimming. It's hard for me to.
I'm not smart enough. I'm not
catching a lot of what John's saying, to be honest.
I do think though the poetic, like when he would think about a fifth P, I was kicking it around. Like there's something about the poetic that I think that's kind of interesting. That kind of encapsulates all that.
Well, it turns out that there's a prayer part 2 section or a prayer continued section, and that's when they finally say it. So let's at least get that far.
Okay, let's get to the prayer question, which I believe we've now laid the groundwork for you to answer that.
So I think that there are aspects of non-propositional cognition that can only be accessed dialogically, imaginally, not imaginatively, but imaginally. And I think that is what prayer does for me. It gives me a dialogically enacted imaginal that allows me to simultaneously and in a coordinated fashion access deep parts of the psyche and open myself up to deep disclosure from reality. But that is not praying to a traditional theistic God.
Like a deity.
Not a deity as a super substance, yes.
What about supernatural?
What do I think that there is such a thing as the supernatural?
In the same way that we can say there's the physical, and then some people are willing to say there's something non-physical. Some people say there's natural.
Yes.
Is natural all there is?
So if you give me what I argued for in that talk, extended naturalism, not only...
See, he's pulling something out of the lunchbox on that answer. He's off. The fifth P is poo poo pee pee. Now that's not Paul Van de Clay's God number 1 and God number 2. Which one is that potty reference, McMo? It's this is Vervaeke with his Vervaeke piece. No.
Does the extended naturalism include Hermes?
Yes, I believe it does. Let's have them argue. Let's have them argue about it. But we got to the point where they didn't really get to where we got by watching them saying that the prayer is the embodiment of all 5 P's. Pastor Paul's leading us into the now I lay me down to sleep prayer, and that sounds like a good plan to me. Jeremy and Hermes, thank you for joining. This has been a fun adventure.
This is an honor. Thanks, Chris.
If I didn't give you enough room to talk and need to be a better person host when other people are here, let me know about it in the replay comments for a +5. Here's the train out of here. Y'all have a lovely night.
Peace.